excited about it and ecstatic about what we're doing. So this morning's conversation is he wants all of it. And I didn't record it, but Tyrell started he wants all of it this morning off with a bang. And I'm telling y'all that was good conversation. So I know y'all listening to us on radio, but if you can ever get on Clubhouse to hear it, that's the only way you're gonna get that. I'm just putting it out there. Get on there and just check it out. The replay. Make sure you're still listening on the radio for all that good music and amazing talks and our conversations and our scheduling and all that good stuff. But make sure you jump on here and listen to this replay, right? And share it with people because some of those things that we say on the replay is insightful to you, but draw people into this room. Have them come in and listen to some of the things that's being said because it's for you. We set these up for you. God did not have me come on here to talk to myself. He could have did that in my bedroom. I ain't even have to get out of bed. I could have sat there and had a whole TNT. I'm just saying. Just a mutual conversation between myself and Jesus Christ, just putting that out there. So we are talking about he wants all of it. So let's talk about this, y'all. I know that we've gone through some things. We talked about times when we've gone through things in our life. We talked about moments that we've had. Um, how does it feel when you think of that thing that you've been holding on to for a long time? And I know that some of us be like, I ain't holding on to nothing. Y'all, I was that. I ain't holding on to nothing. I'm pretty much an open book. I'll tell you anything. Like, ask me and I got you. Because one thing I got is the truth for you. That's it. Well, I found out a few years ago, well, about 5 years ago, at a conference that I was literally holding on to something because I had put it aside like it was nothing. But I had been holding on to something so deep that I didn't even realize it was a problem, which is when I found out that I had the issue then with my mom in the area of they didn't want me. And I was questioning, then why did you have me? But in my head, I'm fine, right? Apparently in my heart, I wasn't. So I was like, you know what? I got this. I'm good. So we ended up how I found out that I had an issue with it because I thought I was good. Well, y'all ain't want me, but haha, I beat all the odds and all the stuff y'all tried to do to get rid of me. But what happened was we went into a birthing session. And so in this birthing session, one of my mentors was teaching, um, and she had set it up where it was like a quiet room with nothing but like a soft instrumental playing in the background, right? And she's also a psalmist. So she was humming. That was it, just humming. Her and her mother, who's a prophetess, they're both prophetess, but her mother does like deliverance services and things like that. And so we were all in there and they had us laying out on the floor. So we did the whole layout, everybody stretched out on their blanket with their pillow and you just laying there, you're breathing through whatever. And it was like, find that thing that you're struggling with. Go back to finding it from the root. So literally our focus was find it from the root of the thing that started it. Y'all just in there and I'm laying there like I think I'm in the wrong session. Like maybe I should be helping right now. And she kept telling me, no, this is not for you to assist. Right now you're not assisting. Right now you're participating. And I was thinking, well, why? Because I tell y'all everything. Like I don't have nothing to hide because that was my thing was I wasn't gonna live my life quiet. Well, when we got in there and was laying there, it didn't dawn on me until the heartbeat, y'all. They started playing because this room is, I mean, they're making it sound like inside the womb. You got the little water swish swishing, like, inside the womb when you're sitting in that little sack. And if you've ever heard a sonogram or something like that, you can hear the water, you can hear the fluids, right? So they had that playing. And so I'm like, I'm good. I'm trying to tap in. I'm like, I really think I should be serving right now. But she's telling me to participate. I'm gonna lay here and do what she's saying because I'm obedient. But I'm like, I want to figure out what this gonna do for me. And as I'm laying there, I was okay, y'all. When I say totally good, like I'm not fighting against nothing, I'm straight, I'm chilling. All of a sudden, I hear the heartbeats. Do, 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 do. And that whole heartbeat thing was just as loud like a sonogram. That's the baby's heartbeat, right? In a sonogram. Why did I break out crying? Just all of a sudden was like, oh my gosh, and did not understand why. I couldn't for the life of me figure out why am I crying? It's a baby's heartbeat. I've heard that before. This is nothing new. And then all of a sudden, God was like, and this is where it began for you. Like at my heartbeat, how it began at the I'm confused. So then they started to go around and they were praying for us individually. So her team got down, they would lay on the side of you. And they were like literally their head by your ear. And so they were laying there talking to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So the young lady is talking to me and she was like, where you start, like they see you break at is where they start talking to you at. It's like right there from the beginning. She was like, you were fine all the way up to the heartbeat started going. She said, what is it that you know that you haven't told other people? It's something you know, something you're aware of, or maybe somebody said something to you, or maybe somebody told you about something. And so I was like, no, I'm good. And then it dawned on me what it was. I was like, oh, well, my mom told me they didn't want me. Like, I was a mistake. And I said, and then even with that, y'all, I didn't know. I still at that point had didn't know that my stepfather was not my father. So I was just like, I don't understand why they wouldn't want me. Like, I know you had two other kids, but I don't understand why you didn't want me. Like, what was up with me? So like I still didn't get all of that. Now I understand that the reason why he didn't want me is because I wasn't his. But that whole situation in itself bothered me and it was hindering me from doing a lot of things because I felt like I was unworthy. I felt like I wasn't worth it for anybody. I felt like um it just like in my general life, I felt like people would never see me as being enough. I felt it was a lot of things that were attached to that I didn't even realize was attached to that. And she started calling these things out. And my mentor was tapped her on the shoulder and was like, let me get this one. Because she had been around me for a long time. So she knew a lot of stuff. She got down and she started binding up and loosing all of this self-loathing and feeling like you less than. And she started going in on me even personally into some areas that she was like, we'll never talk about this again afterwards. But all of those things that she was lining up literally was birthed from that moment of them telling me you didn't want me from the womb. Like I wasn't even born. Like what did I do in the womb to because I was made? I didn't understand that. But outside of that became all of these other issues. And they all stem from that place of thinking I can't do things, of thinking that I wasn't gonna be able to walk out my life or do what God called me to do or what he gonna use me for. I don't understand. But literally had to go through the birthing process. And I mean, she walked me through the whole thing. And then she got up. And as we're getting up from the position of laying down and wiping our faces and walking through, you hear all this wailing going on in this room and we crying out. And I was like, what in the world just happened to me? Like, this is different. But as I'm setting up, I felt refreshed. I was able to leave stuff on that carpet. She was like, get it up, roll these covers up, put them in a bag, take them to the laundry. Everybody just put your stuff in a bag. And that's what they did. Drug it out like it's going to be washed away. Don't worry about it. We're going through these sessions now where we're making sure that you all are aligned in your mind, that you can move forward. And then her mom went through and did the whole second half of the deliverance service, like literally. And I was like in awe because I sat in a corner, like by myself, like I cannot believe that just happened. But she grabbed me and she came and she said, I've been waiting to do this with you. She said, I was waiting because God told me I had to wait with you, that if I tried to do it early, you wouldn't receive it and we wouldn't see you again. And I was like, oh, yeah. Mind y'all, I'm a whole minister at this time. These are the people that I got ordained through. I wasn't even part of their church anymore. And I was like, this is different. Like it was for me release and it was relieving of all of that stress. And then I understood it more. Like because you told me that, it's so how powerful words are will mess us up. Because you told me bold enough to tell me that you didn't want me when I was conceived, and then how y'all tried to get rid of me. It was like I've been getting attacked by the enemy since birth, since before birth. Or how I said, Kelly, since the womb, I've been getting attacked since the womb. And now to be born into this earth, and I'm like, but y'all gonna chase me down because I promise you, you gonna see me. So why you trying to attack me in the womb? Now I'm out here in this earth, and why you trying to attack me? Every time I turn around, I'm gonna give somebody hope. Every time I turn around, I'm gonna give somebody a new beginning. Every time y'all look around to try to get me on this end, I'm coming in on this one to make sure that somebody okay. I'm gonna come to the defense of those that feel like they were lost in the womb. Nobody wanted them all the time and every time, because I have to make sure that there's no more of me's running around here unknowing of what happened or not knowing what's going on in their life, which is why I do what I do with expressing me freely. You're going to talk, you're going to say something, you're going to feel something, you're going to go through and you're going to find out who you are in Christ. And you're going to love yourself, no matter if they loved you or not. So that's my spiel on this. But this was my journey to figuring it out of he wants it all. He wants all of it though. And I had to leave all of that right there in that place to be able to walk for it. So now it's become a testimony for me. So does anybody have anything they want to talk about, or even their journey of coming out and finding out where they had to leave something behind? But my people.
Girl. um,
Why you say it like that?
cause it's like this one right here is like, I mean, my mind kind of went, just being honest. I think my mind went a lot of ways because every time I think I hear a different part of stop that. Every time I hear a different part of your story and like your journey, I think it's more of, it's an inspiration. I don't think you really understand that, like, because to actually hear somebody what they went through and where they are, especially when like you know them, um, outside of just like radio stuff, it's a huge, that's an inspiration. That's to me. I can't speak for nobody else, but to me, because you hear a lot of people who go through stuff like this or experience things and they not here no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or they didn't got so good at the smile that people only see them as strong and resilient and automatically assume that they haven't gone through anything. So, especially when you said that, like, you were a minister and you went through um, the birthing, I want to say birthing session. I
Yeah.
know it's not birthing class. I can't remember how you
Mm-hmm.
put it.
The birthing
Um,
session. Yeah.
but yeah, that's that's wow.
Well, I mean, one of those things is that you have to learn that a title in a church doesn't stop you from being human. That's the first thing. You still a
No, no,
child.
no. I mean, for people outside looking in, people automatically, well, yeah, I know that. But if you just think about it, people automatically say once you become a minister, because, okay, now that means you didn't been into the word and everything in your life has changed and you're no longer going through things. Okay, well, that's what I've heard.
Oh,
That
somebody
a lot of
lied.
people,
Gotcha.
well, yeah, I mean, I know that, but still, like, you hear that. Like, all jokes aside, you hear that. Like, you don't, how you still going through that? Or that must have been in the past. And so that to say that, you went through this or you had to experience this or you had to something else to be, I don't want to say rescue, but
Mhm.
what's the word I'm looking for?
Delivered.
Thank you. But deliver wasn't the word I was looking for, but yeah, we go with deliver from um is big. I mean,
Yeah, it's not a joke. It's really not. It's like going through those things, especially when you feel like you're in a place of where you should be. Because I've heard the things of, you give your life over to the Lord and become a servant, and you don't have to worry about this and the other. And those are people who are unaware of what's going on. They in their own little bubble when they haven't had to go through much. So they don't understand how to get to a place. I mean, my struggle ain't they struggle. Their struggle is not mine. It's never gonna be a time that I'm gonna match up to what you're doing. So you don't know all of the stuff I had to go through to get to a place to say yes and let my yes be real to him. You don't know what I had to go through to actually get to a place where when you say that God is calling me to that, I believe who I am. Because literally all of those things that happened to me, I should have, according to my counselors and the way that they talked to me about this thing, she said, you would think you would have told them no when they told you God was calling you. And when you talked about it, you would think you would have said no because you hadn't gone through the birthing session yet. You wasn't aware that that was even the thing that was bothering you. But because of my life and the things I went through beforehand, being told I wasn't going to be enough, being told I wasn't going to be able to do anything, I turned all those things around from a negative thing to a positive thing for me. But honestly, I turned them around because I wanted to prove him wrong. That wasn't that wasn't a I know I can do it, so I'm going to do it. No, that was a I'll show you.
Yeah.
So everything that I felt like I couldn't do, or everything I felt like people thought I couldn't do, I forced myself to do it. I faced every fear because it was like, well, I'm going to do it because you're saying I can't.
Yeah.
Y'all know the biggest thing that I had that was a I can't that still shocks me to this day when the doctor told me I was never gonna have kids because you can't and your body ain't made for it, and they showed me all the pictures and stuff. Well, y'all see the 25-year-old person that is draining my life with all the stuff he doing. I be like, God will show you that you wrong and make a fool out of your words.
Lord,
Jesus. Lord have mercy. You talking about a struggle. And I went through some stuff to get dude here. I'm like, you here now. Wow, you making me struggle. Like we did this already. Can we not? And say we didn't. So yes, I'm like, God gets the glory out of my life and the one that they said I never have. So that works for me. And that's why when he say he wants all of it, here to go. What else you need from me, Jesus? Because I don't want none of that. I ain't trying to hold on to nothing else, y'all. This is a season where we're walking into a thing where we have to be all the way sold out, nothing held back. That we so open to God that when He can blow at us, we know it's Him. That we don't think the wind is blowing outside. That He literally is blowing us. I walked. How many of y'all? I'm gonna ask y'all this because I used to think I was strange, but how many of y'all walk down the street and feel a gust of wind on you and feel like God pushing you up the street?
I say sometimes. I won't say all the time, but I've experienced it.
Yeah, that Amber, what's the my boss for?
I ain't felt that. He's only hit me.
Well, yeah, you get hit a lot. Amber gets hit a lot. It just be random stuff.
Oh, it,
Amber, she'll be like, God just hit me. I'm like, was it on the hand? How he smack you? Because look, I be thinking he just be reminding Amber, I'm still here. I know what you're thinking. I know you can't do that. Just
Lord.
I can hear your thoughts. Like, Amber is the get rich quick. They call them schemes, but she that strategist that she be like, yep, I got an idea. Well, no.
Well,
So, right, look, she's so mad. Her gif, y'all got to see this. That's her talking. That's the way God be doing her.
yeah, I've actually had the privilege of watching her get hit mid conversation. She was like, "Okay, okay," and I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" She was like, "Yep, just got hit," and I'm thinking, "Why is he hitting you? Ain't he asleep?" She was like, "So God said, oh, you got hit."
Yes. And so I'm like, she get hit for prophetic words, get hit for ideas that we shouldn't be having. Just be great ideas. Just know what God want doing right now. But
Yeah.
it's all of it. It's all the things we have to give back to him. So I thought, like I said, I thought I was weird because I would feel, and it would be like not one of them breezy days. So I could be looking straight ahead and no trees are blowing, like nothing, no leaves are shaking. There's no wind, and then I'll feel like something just took his hand and was like, okay, hurry up, get to the corner. And I'm like, okay, so now I'm speeding up walking. Let me get to the corner. Or I'll, well, that's interesting. Okay, I'll get to a place like even with, because God just reminded me of something that happened. Something that happened with me was that when Brandon was little, like he had to been 2 or 3, I wanted to go to the club, and I hadn't been out. Like I literally was, I had him with me all the time because I was that mom. Like, now you ain't got to watch my kid. I got him. Right. And so I was about 23 and I was just like, I just want to go out. And when some of my friends were going to the club and I had never been out to the club. And so I went, hey, Miss Michelle, I went out to, I was headed out to the club with one of my friends. And I was like, I'm going to meet y'all. And now, mind you, we're in Chicago. So some of y'all may know these streets. I'm going to meet y'all up here on Chicago Avenue and Cicero. And no, Chicago Avenue and Laramie. And I'm going to meet y'all there. You can pick me up on y'all way. And they were like, okay. Right. So I go out the door. I hug Brandon. I put Brandon down. And I'm like, okay, let me go. I go downstairs. Mind y'all, I'm not dressed like provocative or nothing. I'm because I still was then not in the church. But I was cutesy and I went outside and I'm like, okay, time to go. Go ahead and get here. It's nighttime. It has to be about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And I'm walking up the street to the corner. Because we're literally right off of Augusta and Latrobe at the time, which is like a block away from Laramie. So I get up the street to the end of the block, and as I'm about to turn the corner, y'all, before I can get to the corner, like I was maybe 4 feet away from the corner, Brandon starts wailing. Like, I mean, screaming and hollering. I could hear him because, I'm like, here, baby, he gonna cry when I leave because I never leave him. So I could hear him when I first got downstairs. I could hear him. Mom kept saying, just go ahead, I got him. Halfway down the block, I can hear him. I'm like, he is getting really loud. Mama goes, don't come back because she can see me from the window. Don't come back. Go ahead. So I get ready to get almost to the corner, like literally 4 feet from the corner. And this boy is wailing. I mean, hollering out like it was terrifying. To the point, mama gets in the window and starts calling me back. Come back. Come back. Something wrong. Come back. So now she thinks it's something wrong with him. So I'm like, oh, how come every time I want to go, something always happens? But I'm running back to the house now because I'm trying to get away from where I'm at to get back in the house because whatever's going for my mom to be scared. I was like, hold on, something gotta just happen. Like he must be turning a color or something. So now I'm flying back to the house. Y'all, run in the house. As soon as I run in the house, I stop in the door. Like I come through the door and he looks up at me and stops crying. Just stops. Right? And I'm thinking, you are so spoiled. Like, this is wrong. So mom goes, She said, no, something wrong. You can't go. I was like, what do you mean something's wrong? Like, he just wanted his mama, right? Cause so I come in and look at him like, why'd you cry like that? Like, all I did was walk to the corner. Y'all, 3 people got shot right there on the corner. As soon as I got in the house, me running back, somebody shot and killed 3 people that were right there on the corner. Like, had I turned, I'd have been right there.
Uh-uh.
And it was like so crazy. I literally made it out from running back to the house. I was like, oh my
Hey,
gosh.
baby.
Yeah, and we found out about it the next day. It was so weird. But I was sitting there looking at because I'm like, I wasn't mad. I was frustrated, but I was just like, I ain't gonna never get a chance to go out. Like I don't think I've been out in a long time. But I was like, okay, I get it. I'm back. Like, he was calm. He was just looking at me like, okay, you in the house. That's fine. The next morning we get up and mom goes, hey, so 3 people got killed right there on the corner last night. The shots happened, but I don't think we were paying attention to them. And she was like, you were almost at that corner, like right around that time. So I'm like, well, what time was it? She was like around, in between the 9:30 10. And I'm like, That was literally after I walked out the house. So I started asking the girl downstairs because she was in front of the house. She said, girl, as soon as you came off that corner, they started shooting. We all ran in behind you. Mm-mm. I looked at Brandon. I just went, thank you. Because what else I'm gonna say? I just looked at he was looking at me like, you're welcome. Like right. I
Look,
was like,
next time don't be questioning.
right. I just looked at him like, oh, okay. I see how life gonna be with you. Got it. I understood. Mama just came in there and said, you knew your mama was in danger. And was like, oh no, not that one. I need her. That's my milk supply. It was. I was like, that's so wrong, mom. I was like, he was like, my moo got to come back. I can't. I was like, I can't. I cannot. But that's literally like how life works. It's like God always gets the glory out your life, but He's going to utilize you as a babe. He's going to utilize you as an adult. He's going to make sure that you get to where you need to get to. And there's so many things I've already experienced going through life, just trying to get to a place where I can say, God, here's all of it. And where I don't have shame about the things that I had to go through, where the things that were implanted on me or that people put on me, I don't have to be ashamed of it. That just never was my thing. I'm gonna always be who I need to be. Good morning, Brian Bird over here on Facebook. Good morning, good morning, good morning. He said, good morning, family.
Great day, Brian.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna continue this conversation. So the question is, tell me about. Oh well, I hope I got the question. They sending you hearts, Brian. All this goodness. Um, Talking about like that time. What is it? That's something you've let go of, or how did it feel? Let's say that you don't even have to tell us what it was. Just literally, how does it feel to know that you were able to let go of a thing that you probably didn't even know had hold to you?
Okay, I'll say for one most recent, um, it. I think it feels like it's been overdue. Um, it, I want to, how most of the time you be like, oh, I feel like it's a weight lifted off your shoulders and this, that, and the other. But it feel like it's, one of those. It's one that's overdue, and on the flip side, it's like, now what? Because it's like, okay, I've been so used to moving this specific way of trying to be the okay, because this sounds crazy with y'all not knowing. So for me, moving past trying to live up to hearing and knowing that my mother is proud of me, um, and hearing her say it, and it's genuine. It's not just oh, I'm proud of you because you're doing something I want you to do. So of course I'm proud of you because you're listening to me, and you're obeying what I'm saying. I guess is the best way to say it. And just saying that, you know, listen, I'm over the offense of that. Um, I'm moving past it, and I can no longer care because I don't expect it anymore. So that's one that I could just say it feels like it's just one that's well overdue. I still love you, but I can't be concerned with it. And whatever the repercussion is the part where I'm saying, okay, what's about to happen now? Because that's just, whatever. Um, I know God got me. So I guess that's more of the what's about to happen now because I know God got me and move forward. So yeah, I guess that's probably the best answer I could give of one of 500 million I got.
Oh wow, she said 500 million. Anybody else? That's good. Amber J, what you got? You know I was coming.
Uh-oh, Tanil, if you talking, we can't hear you.
Well, that would happen. I said that was good. At least you know me. I was like, that was good. Okay, Amber J, what you got? She didn't say nothing. I said, you knew I was coming.
Um, something that something that I let go. Uh, ooh, I got a good one.
Okay.
Uh, okay, so you know, now if I didn't know Jesus,
Mm.
this would be so hard. Um, because I don't know, it was just very different for me. Like with it's about fun. So with fun, um, had I been in a place where I didn't know the healing power of Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just went on about life, just accepting whatever people said about him. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
this would have been a lot harder for me to let go of him not being around me 24/7. um, because like in the world, they feel like, well, you gotta watch him. Something might happen. Not to say, just not to let your guard down completely about your child. That's not what I'm saying. But not to live in fear and to really trust God that He has them. That He, my son got his own set of angels. Like they be watching him. Like they
Mm-hmm.
be watching him. So just to let go of everyone else's opinions, letting go of um, trying to do motherhood the way I saw on TV because it's stupid and unrealistic. Um, Letting go of what I thought motherhood would be because I had my little own expectations and God was He just busted all my little bubbles and said no, we're not gonna do that. You think you're gonna be this type of mom, but no, I really need you to be this type of mom because you have this type of kid. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. So yeah, just letting go of that was it was hard in the beginning just because this is my first kid, and you wanna just be you want to be everything that you're supposed to be or you think you're supposed to be, but you don't really know. You don't really know what you're supposed to be because you just started. So you're figuring it out. But praise be to God that God is patient and He's gracious and uh, that He talks to me. So He let me know what I was doing and what I don't need to do. And He's like, it's okay. It's fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just listen. So yeah, letting that go was something I needed to do. And it is so refreshing because I just dropped my kid off at school.
She be so excited to drop him off, y'all. I'm like, can I be excited to pick him up? Like, when you want me to go get him, I can go.
Yeah, he'd be so excited to pick up. He's just like, oh, you're so happy to see me. That's great. Yeah, it's a happy medium. Happy medium.
She's like, I had a full day of work without you. And took it like I had a full day of play without you. Hi, mom. I think that's why he be so hyped up at night. He be trying to get the rest of his day out with, I know you miss me. Let me give you all of this at one time. Like, here go all my goodness that I had built up that was just for you. So, blah, here you go, mom. That's pretty much why he be all hyped up and ready to go. Anybody else? Anybody else? And that was really good. That was a really good
Yeah, I
testimony.
said I had a good
Yeah,
one.
cause I know, I'm like, I know that she's that mom. Like, he don't go many
What's the
places.
question again?
Talk about, look, he always makes me go back to what's the question again. Look, talking about a time when you had to let go of something. How does it feel to be able to let go of things that you probably didn't even know you had, were holding on to, but to give it all to God?
Okay, you said, how does it feel to let go of something that you did not know that you were holding on to?
Right, and then of course, it was revealed to you that this is the thing.
Oh, for me, it's all grown folk. Well, we got replays on anyway. We're just gonna be
Yeah,
honest.
you're on the radio
So
now,
for
so go
me,
ahead.
mine was um, being intimate with other people. Um, I did not know for me that it was a struggle, and it wasn't really the struggle of actually even being intimate because I really didn't, for some odd reason, crazy enough, because I didn't like it, but it was a coping mechanism for me. And when I learned that my way of breaking uh, from free from that was to break off the coping mechanism part of it. It felt I felt relieved um, because I've never really been like a very sexual person or anything of that sort. I've always been more of a ease. You feel what I'm saying? Like even in relationships, it's just never been me. But the moment I started going through my deliverance process, when certain things happened, or when life happened, it became the thing that I found myself running to, and I did not know that even in while I was out in that life and I was living in that life, that I've always used it to cope with life. It was my coping mechanism. It was a thing that I ran to find comfort. And when I started going through my deliverance process, I was wondering why these urges would come, and it wouldn't be like all the time, but it would be just like at random moments. But what I thought was random moments, but it was moments that I got sick, moments that high stress levels, moments that I would get into an argument with somebody. I would just randomly get these urges, and I did not. If for some odd reason at the time, my mind could not, link the two together. So when I was able to actually say um, that it was that I felt relieved. I felt relieved of that pressure. I felt relieved. Uh, uh, I felt relieved. I felt like it was a weight lifted off my shoulders because it was something that I know that I can now work toward and actually be free from. Because it was, instead of fighting urges all the time, now I know what I have to do to just get rid of these urges. I have to break this coping mechanism. So that was one of the biggest things that for me, I did not understand what I was dealing with, but when I did find out, babe, listen, I was happy. I was jumping through hoops. Do you understand? I was relieved. I felt stress lifted off my shoulders, and I just felt like it was one thing I could knock down to move on to the next thing that I had to deal with.
Oh, that's good. Listen, and we've all been there. Even I know for me, I'm not gonna say we all, because some people deal with it and they're fine. I was there as well, so I get that. That whole thing of the intimacy part is like all that extra stress, all of that extra pain, all of that extra hurt, and it's weighing down on you, and that's the only thing you know that you can control. And so it becomes that thing that you run to because you have control over it. And I was like, Lord, thank you that I ain't got 19 children. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Praise Him, because they would have never seen me on this platform, Jesus, with 19 children. Not the ones I gave birth to. It, Father, I appreciate you. Yes, sir. But like the honesty behind that is serious. No, people don't think of it as it being a problem. That's an issue for some people who don't even think it's an issue. But when they find out it's an issue and they figure out that they can change it, man, you be just like, I can control this part of that now. I don't have to control that in the areas where I was doing that. But now I can get rid of those demonic spirits that's holding on to me to tell me that this is what I need to be doing and this is the only way I can handle my life. Like, no. Um, I don't know what's
That was
going on with
good.
my, yeah. Go ahead, Kelly. What were you saying?
No, I was saying that was good because, yeah, that can, some people would actually use that as a major coping mechanism. Like the same thing that people do, like when they drinking or smoking or whatever, just to numb whatever else it is. So, yeah, that was good.
Amen. Miss Michelle, you got anything for us?
Good morning, everyone. Um, yeah, I don't know if I shared this before, but I just keep going back to it. Um, so for me, um, smoking weed was something that I grew up around
I mean, just being exposed to, all my family members, everybody smoked, and so, of course, after I became of age, became a teenager, it was a normal thing in my family, so I felt like it was normal. So, of course, I began doing it at a young age. And then as I became an adult and I started to get closer to God, is when I found out. And this was even when it was illegal. In Michigan, it's legal now, but it's only been legal probably about the last 3, 4, 5 years or something, even maybe less than 5. But anyway, for me, as I became closer to God, I started to get convicted. When I started reading my word and finding out that God us to wants our mind to be clear. He don't want us to be our mind to be altered or clouded up with heavy drink or smoking or whatever it is that could alter your mindset. And so as I began to find all this stuff out, I would get convicted every time I smoked a blunt, because back when I started smoking, blunts wasn't around, but then I graduated from joints to blunts. And as I got closer to God and started to get convicted every time I participated in it. And so then I realized that I really didn't want to stop. And so it's like, so what do I do now? Because I know that the ministry that God has given me and where I want to go in God and what He has given me to do, I know that I can't take this with me, but I don't want to quit. So then I realized that, God knows what you do. He sees everything. He knows all. But you have to make a decision to go to Him and say, hey, Lord, I need your help. This is something that I don't want to stop doing. Can you help me with it? Can you take the urge away? Can you change my mindset about it? Because I just don't want to quit. But I know that I need to quit. And so as time went by, I would roll a blunt and it would last me the whole day. I would hit on it throughout the day. And so as time started going and the more I got convicted of it, I would notice that the next day I got a half a blunt in my box. And so it's like, okay, God, I see you working, because now I'm seeing you work in me because, there was never a time where I would have a half a blunt left over the next day from the day before. So I could see God helping me to get to that point where I would be able to stop. And so then after more and more time went by, the pastor of my church, because I'm a leader in the church, which is another reason why I knew, like I said, everything in my life, I knew that I couldn't take that with me. I needed to stop immediately. So our pastor, he invested in all of the leaders and he paid for us to go through inner healing and deliverance. And when I tell y'all, I went through inner healing and deliverance last September the 24th of 22. And I have been free. And next month, I will celebrate 1 year of being free from smoking. And, drinking was never my thing. Like, I could drink. I mean, drinking wasn't an issue with me. I could drink or I didn't have to drink. It didn't matter. So, but when I decided to stop smoking, I just let go of drinking as well. So 1 year, next month on September the 24th, I will be free from alcohol, marijuana for a whole year. And I thank God.
Amen. Amen. Congratulations.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that. And it's really hard because nothing's changed with friends and family members, and I had to distance myself from that whole scene at first. But I know that where I am and what God has done for me, now I can go around my family members and not feel the urge to do it, but yet they can see what God has done for me. And the fact that, when we um, dedicate our lives to God, we have to uphold um, a certain way that we have to walk. And we don't want people to look at us like, oh, she go to church every Sunday, then get out of church getting higher than you and me, or smoking and drinking worse than all of us. So, that was another thing that convicted me. Like, I know that I have to walk a certain way if I'm representing God, so at first I had to distance myself from family, from friends, because that's all they do is smoke. And I don't judge nobody, because it took me a long time. I'll be 60 years old next in October, and and I started smoking in high school, so it's been a really, really long time. And so I don't judge nobody. Like, everybody got to do it on their own and come to what it is that God has you to do. You got to come to it on your own. So I'm not judgmental when it comes to it, but I knew that I had to distance myself from it. And so now that I'm stronger, and I can go around it without feeling the urge, now my light is shining. Now that people can see, wow, she smoked all them years. And because they laughed at me. Like, when I first went around them, when I first stopped, and that's when I realized that I wasn't strong enough yet to be around them. They laughed at me when I told them I don't want to smoke no more. I don't do it anymore. They's like, yeah, right, we gonna see. And so now that it's been a year, like, they know that, okay, she really, really did quit. And so now I feel really good about it, because I can go around them and they can see what God has done for me, and that my light is shining, and that it encourages other people that they can do it too.
Amen. Amen. I like that testimony. Come on here, 1 year anniversary. Yes, Ariel. You can barely be heard though. You gotta speak up just a little bit.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. Listen, y'all. First of all,
You went away.
um, I want to say thank you that you continue to go as you were being delivered, as you were being set free. One thing I tell people all the time, and a lot of people give me a lot of flack for it, is that a lot of times your deliverance process doesn't come from you sitting down. Your deliverance process comes as you go. A lot of times in the Bible, when people were being healed, it says, as they went, the Lord heals them. The Lord healed them. As they went, they were made whole. And sometimes it's as you go, as you continue to do the work, you will be made whole and you will be delivered. So I personally want to say thank you for continuing to go, continuing to do the work that you knew you were created to do while you were going through your healing process. And it did not cause you to back away from God. Because a lot of times when we realize that we're not doing something right, we'll back away from the call, we'll back away from God, or we'll sit ourselves down in church. So thank you for continuing to go and continuing to do the work as you were healed, as you were set free, and as the Lord delivered you. And because that right there is a testament that a lot of people need to understand, that as you go, as you continue to do the work, the Lord will continue to deliver, because He does not, He doesn't, and a lot of people don't agree with this statement, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm just who I am. He doesn't judge us a lot of times off our sin. He judges off the intent of our heart, right? And your heart was pure, and while you were doing the work, even though you were still struggling, but it was through your words, it was through your good deeds, it was through your obedience that the Lord built up your faith, that He strengthened you to be delivered. Yes. So thank you for not giving up. Thank you for not sitting down. Thank you for not pushing yourself back. And thank you for continuing to go and allowing the Lord to do the work as you went. That's it. Thank you for that.
I couldn't help it. Sorry. I'm excited for you. I'm so excited for you. I'm like, and then you look. We in the channels over in the chat talking about 60 where. We talking about?
Yeah, I'm knocking at the door. I'll be 60 years old October 22nd.
Come on here, October, baby. I love it.
Hallelujah.
Amber, like, listen, your deliverance ain't everybody else's business. It's not. You have to hold on to your own thing because they can't help you maintain it. Your deliverance is your deliverance. Somebody can sit there all day long and to remind you of who you are, remind you not to do this, or remind you not to do that. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to make the decision, stand firm on it, and do what you need to do.
Yeah, because my family laughed at me when I told them, "Oh, I don't smoke no more."
Because they like that ain't normal.
Okay. They literally laughed at me, and I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, it's.
While you laughing, I'm gonna keep on pushing,
right,
and keep on trying to do the right thing and doing what God want me to do. And then so now they see that, hey, she was serious, and she meant business.
Yeah, and I mean that's a test. I'm pretty sure that everybody in your family don't want to smoke. There's some that don't want to, that really want to be able to walk away from this thing, but because it's such a family tradition and a family habit, they just fall into the habits of the family. And so you'll be that trendsetter that has changed it up on them, and now they feel like if she can do it, I can do it too.
Because one of my nephews, we had a family gathering probably about 6 months ago. And he was like, "Auntie, so tell me, how did you do it? How did you just quit?" So, they're looking at me and wanting to know how I did it. So, that's kind of really encouraging me. And I just thank God for strengthening me to be strong enough to get to this point, because now they're looking and wondering, like, how did you do it? Because obviously it's something that they want to be in the same position, So I just thank God. I really do.
He is so good. I listen. I was she has me thinking about like our thing in our family. One of the things that we talked about before has been like children, and all of the women in our family have at least like 3 or 4 kids at least. So it goes up from there. So it's like I don't think that there's anybody but one sister out of all of them that has like only 2 kids. And so I have an aunt who only had one. And so they will be like, "Oh, we're a big family because we have a lot of kids, and that's just in us to be fertile and all this stuff." And I was like, "I'm never having children. You people walk around here with 5 and 7 and 9 and 13 kids. Who wants to do all that? Like your whole life is gone. The only way you can have a life is to ignore your babies. So either you ignore your kids so you can have your life, or you sucked in with all these children." And I was like, I don't want no babies like that. I don't want all that. We can't wait till you have. So for a long time, I was like, somebody sterilize me. This ain't gonna work. I don't want these kids getting on my nerves. All I'm doing is babysitting. But it went to a place where I started looking like one of my aunts only had one child, and I was like, how did you do that? How did you go from only having not having any to having one? And she waited till she got married, had that one child, and was done. She said, "I said I was done, and I meant I was done." She said, "I did everything I needed to do to make sure that I didn't have another child. I didn't want any more children. And she said, and the family kept on, oh, you're gonna have this, you're gonna have that, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. But the thing is that literally I can't do it. She was like, I just don't want to. Now her sister that had two at the time only had one as well, but 18 years later, y'all, like her baby turned 18 and she had another kid. I was like, are you nuts? Like what? You was almost free. That was my response for real. You was almost free. Like she turned 18 and you went and had another little girl. I'm like, oh my gosh. Why would you do that? She's like, well, I don't, it just happened. Oh no. My other aunt was like, and this is why you do everything you need to do. That's within what you're trying to do for yourself and make sure that it's safe for you not to have any more kids if you don't want any more. And I was like, okay. I didn't think I could have kids, but I do know that with me saying that I was going to have a child with Brandon's dad, I told him that, and I was like, God will get you for the words that you say. He was like, "Oh, you playing with us? Like you know you can't have kids, but you gonna say this just because you like? Yeah, sure." So when I got pregnant, I'm like, "Miracle baby, got to deal with it. Fine." After that, I was like, I ain't having no more kids. That's it. I'm done. All the family, oh, she finna have like five. Y'all speaking word curses. No, I went through life like every time they, when you having another one, I'm not. Now leave me alone. You gonna take care of it? Are you gonna raise this kid? Are you gonna do the diaper thing? Because I don't want to do that. Like I did a lot just going through having him myself, but I stuck to what I said. Like I was serious. So my family now looks at me like she did like exactly that. And the ones that came behind me, there's a generation of cousins. Like my first cousins that are all maybe like 5 and 10 years younger than me. They got 4, 5 kids, and they in they like literally in their 30s, the end of their 30s, and you got 10 kids and five. I'm like, thank you, God. I don't. Oh, that's a lot of children. Like how you? I look at them like how you so fine, fabulous with 13 children. How? Let me see your babies. That's what I'm like. I don't get. I don't get it. Like why have all these kids and then complain about them all the time? No, let me just do the one that I got because my mouth got me in trouble, and I'm gonna raise this one to the best of my ability, and then I'm gonna move on. So that way I can't say I mishandled them or anything like that. I feed him and clothe him like the law said until he turned 18, and then I made him do it himself. That's just it was like we gonna just keep moving. But that's the thing when you start breaking those generational curses, because that to me is a generational curse. You're just having babies, having babies, having babies, having babies, and getting no public assistance. No, I don't need to count up money from off of that. That's not the way life is gonna be for me. I can't. So yeah, that was my adjustment. Yes, ma'am. Miss Michelle saying a lot of work as well. Yes, you got to maintain 13 people and yourself. Somebody gonna lose out. What is?
Just imagine 13 science projects.
Yes.
It's like you
Oh,
got to go to school all over again 13 times.
can you imagine report card pickup day?
Oh my goodness. Parent teacher conference. It's like
Right. I'll be
a
up there talking
2 day
about.
thing.
See, and that's when strategy comes in. You got to be strategic when you got that many kids and you do a report card pickup. I've seen people do this. Like you just in there and you like, okay, I'm this person's mom. How many of my kids in your class? That's the way you handle that. I sit at your desk. We gonna sit here for about 20 minutes, 5 minutes per kid, and then we gonna talk about.
That's crazy.
I was in there when I worked at CPS. I was like, "How's she finna do this? She got 7 children. Like, you only get 5 minutes with each teacher." She was like, "Just give me the points." Like this lady had me cracking up with the way she talked to them was just crazy to me. Cause she would be like, "Okay, listen, I only got 5 minutes to sit here with you, and I got 7 children. You got three of them. So, do I get 15 minutes or 5 minutes?" She was like, "Well, it's five, and then you have to get back in line." I was like, "Well, she waited in line for the three children. What is she talking about?" I'm like, every time she's standing in line, notice she's standing in line for multiples. Don't do that. Like, I'm sitting there, though, don't you cut her off. Like, let her talk for 15 minutes. She got three babies. Y'all got to wait. They was like, but they can't, sit there. They have to keep moving 5 minutes. Go find another teacher to talk to. She got three children in different levels. That's with this one teacher. It don't make sense for her to get back in line. We not doing this. I started being. Let me follow you around here. Here go your schedule. I'm gonna tell all these teachers that you're gonna be with them for 15, and they need to let people know that. Like that don't make sense at all. And it was just weird. So that day was, I mean, she kept having to go up there to get awards. After a while, she started sending her kids. Y'all, it was just,
That's crazy.
I was like,
Now she has she started sending the baby.
I mean,
Go get
because,
your brother. Look, go get your brother stuff.
yes,
Cause my legs hurt. I'm
my
tired.
legs hurt.
Go
'Cause,
Riri.
oh,
Go Riri. Go get little Ricky stop. You see Ricky name being called. Go here now. I got little
right.
John over here.
She tired when she started calling the kids you. I mean, this, hey, you, come here. You stop touching that. I'm like, mm. I know all your baby's names. So how is you messing this up? But it was funny to me, but I was like, I felt bad for her. Just with 7. I felt bad for her. Like that's a lot. You see the kids going up there and then your kid go sit down. It's already weird to us when they, instead of calling the kid up once and giving them all their awards, they call them by subject or so that kid already getting up like 3 times when they good. They getting up 3 times, going up there being seen 3 times. Your mama is tired of going up there. She got 7, and y'all all smart kids. So y'all got awards up the yin yang. And they calling y'all names. This poor woman done been up there 5 times already. That last time you see the little brother go up there, my mama told me come get. Oh, really? Like, Father.
I feel like when it's stuff like that, and it's a large family, literally you could be like, okay, they're getting awarded for perfect attendance, science award, like just go down the list with this one child. Like, come on, people. But I told you my cousin has 16.
That's what I'm saying. I can't imagine that. And that was me. That was the thing I ran from. I just could not be a part of that. I was like, I can't do that.
Pause. You said 16 what?
16
My cousin,
kids.
my cousin has 16 children. She is in love with having babies, and she loves babies up until they're, I think 2 or 3. And once they hit 2 or 3, she wants to have another one because she likes the nurturing part, the dependent part. Well, I mean, I think they all grown now. She definitely. I don't think she got no more.
Listen, at this point, Terrell, deliverance may not help. The baby's already here.
Yeah, I mean, they all grown, but around school time, everybody went. Like for that type of situation, everybody went. Nana went. My aunties went. Our cousins went. My sister and I, my mom, and we would go to the school. Like when at least so many of them were in school at the same time, and because they were all between that 1 or 2 years apart. Usually it was like a year and a half to 2 years apart. Then, yeah, we would just be up there. So it's like, she ain't about to, because most likely she hold another baby and got another one in a stroller.
Yeah,
So
no.
she can't just walk away. But yeah,
Right.
it
But
used to
my
be a
thing is,
family reunion.
listen, this was my thing about people that had a lot of kids. I used to be like even with my family, like I would ask them, like, you on number 3? Hey, you on number 3 and you ain't good and 22 years old yet. Like, hey, look at your life. You on number 3. Did you even graduate high school? You on number 3. Are you going to college? Like, do you have any other plans? Because at this point, you're going to be looking around at your family members and your mama already yelling, I ain't taking care of them children. I got my own kids to take care of. Heck, let's be honest, that your kids probably is your mama kids. You thinking like we are grown. Your mama sitting up here having another one. Because my grandmother, my mother, and her sister all had babies at the same time. We all born at the same time. Okay, my mother, my grandmother, and my other aunts all had kids at the same time. So you got an uncle and 2 nephews, same age. You got auntie and 2 nieces, same age. because they will still have kids. So how is it that you looking at your mama like, I need help when your mama holding on to her baby right now? You don't have that support. You got to do it yourself. All the kids in our family, with the exception of B and my little cousin Davion, they are the only two children in our entire family that were born by themselves, that don't have, and we've put them together just out of habit because it's awkward that y'all don't have a mate. Like you two are together. So they ended up going to school together because they were in the same grade but like different ages. Like one was going into his next year, and then Brandon was behind Davion. So we just connect them to, like, okay, Brandon, Davion, and I'm like, just let y'all know that don't match. Like they literally were not born in the same month or in that little try, because it was a lot. Like you had the babies born August, September, October. Then you had babies born November, December, January, and this is a mother and her kids. That's a lot of children. I was like, how do you? My grandma was still popping out kids, and her kids was grown. I was like, what are you doing, lady? Like how? Your last two fit in. We thought they were our cousins. Like at some point, you gotta just say no more. It's just stop. It was just a lot. So at some point, you gotta change this up. Like it's weird calling them uncle and auntie, and they the same age as you. Come on. Like if that's what you're gonna do, but know that you don't have all of that support, you have to figure out life. You got to know that you have a strategy. You know that you got it yourself. You got to do it yourself. But it, like you said, Kelly, y'all will all go. Our family wasn't getting down like that. You said it's report card pickup. You take care of your own kid. You got 9 children. You got 9 places to go. They all got their own daddies. You got 9 places to drop your kids off at. You better get
I
the
feel
drive.
like we all went because, especially the aunts, like my mom and her sister. I think we all went because we knew that my cousin wasn't too mentally put together, so we didn't know like what she would do. But we would always make sure we were around. Like I can't really remember too many times that either somebody didn't have a child, like, or a couple of them, and then when we found out she was pregnant again, like, I think all of us would be angry. Like, can we sterilize her? And I know that's probably wrong to say, but it used to be a family circle conversation.
Hey
like,
y'all, hey, so
can we
listen, it's now
sterilize her?
9:24.
Like,
We're
can we
gonna go
force
ahead and
that
exit out at 9:30.
on
Thank
her?
you for
Is
being
that
on Morning
illegal?
Social with
And
us
if it is, can
for
we get away with it
F2G
anyway?
Radio. It's
Things
been a
like that.
blast,
And
y'all.
I
Hear
know
the
that's probably,
conversations that's going forward.
wrong
If
to
you want
say
to hear
because
the
it was
rest of it,
years
jump
ago, of
on
course.
over
Like,
here
but
on Clubhouse and hang out with us. In
yeah,
Jesus' name, we love
it
you
was more
guys. Have
so
a
just
great day.
afraid
Awesomeness.
of what would happen. Like, she might go to get the award and mess around and see a dude. So, we had 7 years. Like, it wasn't a